Hey, what's up? David here with DNL Video Fix, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be creating this explosion. Alright, so this is what we're going to be creating. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that. So we got a lot of detail going on here. We got explosion, we got dust, we got smoke, and some motion tracking as well. Now, if you don't have any stock footage of explosions, I suggest you go and buy a bomb and then just blow it up. And of course record it, but blow it up and that's it. You don't even have to do any CG work on it. But in all seriousness, if you want to get some stock footage, there's plenty on YouTube and you can just download it from there. So let's get into it. So I've got this footage and I'm going to drop it into a new comp. And here we have my comp. Now, when I recorded this, I knew the grass was too green, so I had to do some more work on it. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to call this floor. And with this, I'm going to draw a mask around it. Hit F and feather it out. If we solid this, it'll look like this. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to change the color, and I'm gonna change from green to more of a brown color. We want to make the grass look dead, so maybe there. Oh, it's pretty good. And we'll change this from hue to hue and saturation. Okay, and maybe okay. And you just duplicate it again and just keep doing it until you're happy with your footage. So I would be right back. Alright, so I've got 5 copies here and that's looking okay. I mean, like, it's alright. So yeah, so let's add some motion tracking because my hand was not very steady. So I'm gonna go layer, new, null object, call this tracking data, and double click on this comp, not the floor, the original, and hit track motion. Now we want to track the rotation as well, and just find a point. I'm going to use this box. Maybe I'll change this to full. Change the box, and maybe this pole. And once you're happy with your track points, hit this play button. Alright, so once it's finished, it should look like this. And we want to edit the target. So edit target and call it the tracking data. And hit apply. Okay, what is this? Okay, so our tracking data is on our null object now. If we have a look, well, we don't need that. If we hit U, and it'll bring up all the keyframes. Okay, and we're going to need that to make our stock footage adapt with the shakiness of my hand. Okay, so now let's get into the fun stuff. So let's add this dirt charge that I've got. These stock footages are from Video Copilot Action Essentials, so yeah, that's where I got my stock footage from. So thank you, Video Copilot, aka Andrew Kramer. Okay, so we got this explosion happening, so we need a adapt it to our footage. So we're gonna first off get rid of this harsh edge at the bottom, hit it to subtract, and hit F and feather it out a bit. Okay, and then move it somewhere in the middle here, and scale it up. Okay, and I'm going to do some color correction on this. So color correction curves a bit, not too much though. Okay. Alright, so I did some work on the floor and the hills here. Yeah, the color didn't look right, so I just made some adjustments. So let's drop our explosion to the dirt on our comp, and we're gonna speed it up a bit. So go to time stretch, maybe make this about 75, and then we want the explosion to come at the dirt charge's peak, so somewhere around there, and then the explosion happens. So just line it up, scale it up, and yep, just want to scale it up. I want to make explosion pretty big. I mean, like, it's an explosion. I wanted to make it big, and boom, that is our explosion. Alright, so let's get rid of this bottom, hit F, feather it out, and set this to subtract. Okay, so let's move it down a bit and make this 10. Okay, so let's add some color correction. So we're going to go color correction tint, and we want to make this a bit brownish color, and drop that down a bit to let it match our background, and go stylize glow and change this to maybe 300 and set this to 0.2 and set the maybe some orange color and set this to A and B colors. Okay, so if you don't see the difference, that's the difference right there. I'm gonna make this maybe 0.3. Okay, so it's all about just making adjustments until you're happy with the work. Okay, so next thing we're gonna bring out our smoke element. Drop that underneath the dirt charge, and we want it to make it go faster. So we want it to come on. We're gonna put it on top first, but I want to make it first off line up, and then when it reaches it goes higher, hit Alt and then begin bracket, and then just slide it across. Let's scale it up, widen it, and let's get rid of this bottom edge, and again subtract F, 10 pixels for the feathering, and put this behind the explosion. scale it up really big, and as the explosion dies, it kind of looks like it's incorporated with the smoke. So just adjust this. Okay. Yep. So we have the dirt charge, then the explosion, then the smoke will happen. I want it to start happening here. So that's where I want it to start happening. And then you'll have smoke at the end. You want to make smoke fairly large as well. Okay, now let's do some color correction. So we're going to go color correction, tint, set this to brown, and then just drop that until it matches. Maybe 20%. Yep. 25. Okay. Cool. Now let's do our dust waves. Let's drop that in there. Add the mask around that. F. Further it out. Maybe 50 pixels. And tint. So that's pretty cool. Maybe 70%. Okay. And we want to time it. So we're gonna go, maybe make it 70, 65, and we want it to happen when the explosion happens. So move this across. So the explosion happens and the dust waves happen. Okay. So the dust happens as the explosion happens, and we want to scale it up. And then duplicate it. Offset the time a bit, and then maybe flip it, and maybe scale it up. Oops. And just put it in a different position, maybe here, and then maybe darken it a bit, and then duplicate it one more time. And offset, oops, and then flip it once more, till you're happy with it, and then make lighter a bit. Alright, so let's have a look at what we have. So we have the dirt charge happening, and then the explosion comes in, the dust elements, and then our smoke element comes at the back. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so might move the smoke a bit to the right. Okay, so we want to put, I'm going to put one more dust element, but it's a different one. And I'm going to scale it up to fit the comp. And this one, time stretch, 50%. And we want to come on maybe the same time as our previous dust element, and obviously color corrected. duplicate it. Maybe get rid of this edge at the bottom. Subtract, feather it. Okay. And offset the time a bit. So let's have a look. So we got the explosion, the dust waves. Maybe I want this to come on. Okay, so that looks alright. Yeah, so it's just a matter of trial and error until you get the timing right, you get the color correction, and there is no secret formula. There's no secret like Albert Einstein, whatever equation. It's just through trial and error. Let's parent our dust waves to the tracking data, and that's it. That's our explosion. So let's have a look. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I want to create a little bit more detail on this. So I'm going to make a new solid. So Control Y, make it orange and hit OK. And we'll set the transfer mode to add. And we're going to put this underneath our dust waves, but on top of our explosion. Alright, now we're going to add a mask just around our explosion. F, feather it out quite a lot. And okay, and we're going to spread the mask out. So, like that. Okay, hit T and maybe bring it to about 60%. And then we want it to come on for a couple of seconds, or even frames actually, and just let it drop down. So I'm hitting Alt bracket to cut the layer, and then yeah, so we have the explosion happen, and then the orange solid comes up. Okay, and finally let's do some color correction. So Control Alt Y for adjustment layer, hit enter, CC for color correction, hit tint, color correction curves, bring that down to maybe 30%, maybe 25, and add a little contrast to it. Not too much though, because we want the dust elements to match the background as well. Okay, so that's it. So our comp, so this comp, we'll call this explosion, and we'll put it into a new comp. So we'll put in this comp. Now everything's all in one comp. It's like merging layers in Photoshop, but instead it's just in another comp. And we're gonna hit P for position, hit about this area until the explosion's over, so maybe about here. And we want to add some camera shaking to make it more wild. So we'll go to Wiggler, or if you don't have it, you just go to Window, Wiggler, and it's right there. So we highlight these two keyframes, make the noise type to jagged, and just start adjusting them. So these were my values, and hit apply. And so if we take a look at this, we got some crazy camera shaking movement. Now this problem comes up, so the solution is just scaling your comp up Let's make it 106 just to be sure. Alright, so that's our explosion. So that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned some interesting techniques that you can use for your own creations. The video will be posted on my website, so be sure to check that out. And until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video.